causally identify behavioral effects that explain why we need the law or in which ways the law achieves its stated goals. That's the priority of my research. My name is Christoph Engel. I have had the privilege to run this institute for almost 20 years now. We have two big questions. The one question is, in behavioral terms, why do we need government? And the second big question is, if we come to the conclusion that some governmental intervention is desirable, which is the best way to improve things? If you start from the idea of a world where we don't have this coordination instrument of the law, then you one by one can reconstruct in which ways the fact that we do have law in modern societies makes it easier for us to achieve the goals we're after, which could be the biggest welfare, it could be liberty, it could be peace. The list is long, but it seems relatively easy to claim, but not so easy to show in detail that it is indeed causally due to the fact that we have law that we get all those outcomes. The observation is that on the European continent, the law just enforces people's promises. Whereas under common law, meaning in the US and in the UK, if someone breaks her contractual promise, the court usually would not step in and just enforce it, but would only compensate the person for pecuniary damage she had from trusting the contractual obligation. And we wonder whether this difference between the legal orders matters for the efficiency of the law. How can you test this? We exposed participants to a situation where one person has to work for a good and another person has the technical possibility to take the good. And our manipulation was the remedy in case she does. And this remedy runs from there's no protection whatsoever up to there is perfect protection, and we covered the intermediate range, so you get some compensation, but the compensation is incomplete. This we told participants and gave them a chance to contract around. So they had the possibility to oblige themselves not to take the good against some monetary compensation, and that would have been enforceable. And there's two interesting findings in this experiment. The one is that we only rarely find those contracts. So in only about a third of the cases we find them. We, however, do also only find taking in about a third of the cases. Efficiency is not obtained because in a third of the cases the good is just taken. That's the most inefficient things that could happen in the experiment. Also, the idea that it really doesn't matter what the law protects, because at the end of the day the parties will just find their bilateral ways to circumvent the impediment, does not hold in the experiment. The basic source of this result is a clash in fairness norms. And this clash of fairness norms led to a huge degree of inefficiency. At least if we care about efficiency, so if we care about the goods ending up in the hands of individuals who can make most out of them, it's better to follow the European continental solution so that a contractual obligation is just enforced, rather than relying on the outsmarting individuals, the deficiency of the law, by contracting around. Laying the behavioral foundations of law there's still so much that should be done that we really want to flesh that out in much more detail than we have been able to do right now. And we want to see in which ways we can get even more empirical purchase out of using the latest data analysis tools for legal issues. So that's the two big things we are doing.